Three-time Super Bowl champ, 2 league MVPs, 7 straight AFC title games, 2 first-team All-Pros, 6-time Pro Bowler, and 5 Super Bowl trips in only 7 seasons as a starter. The youngest quarterback to ever win league MVP and Super Bowl MVP. You guys know who I'm talking about. He's your favorite player to hate. In this video, I'll be explaining why so many NFL fans turned on Patrick Mahomes. I believe in spreading the truth, not false narratives. The truth is that most of you hate Mahomes for reasons you won't admit. Some will find this refreshing to hear, while most will probably get triggered and do what haters do best, which is cry about it. Regardless, the truth shall set you free, or I will. Some might question if Mahomes really is the most hated quarterback in the league, and the simple answer to that question is yes. If you've been paying any attention to the NFL over the past few years, you know what I'm talking about. Whether it be the refs, Mahomes crying to them, Taylor Swift, Jackson Mahomes, Brittany Mahomes, the commentators glazing him, the State Farm commercials, the fact that the Chiefs have played in the most nationally televised games over the past few seasons, you guys find something, anything, to complain about and credit for Mahomes and the Chiefs' success instead of giving them their much deserved credit. One thing you guys will learn very quickly is that I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you. Patrick Mahomes is off to hands down the greatest, most prolific start to an NFL career by any player ever. And it's not even close. He's only started 7 seasons, and he's already broken numerous NFL records, won multiple Super Bowl titles and MVPs. Really, almost any accolade you can name, he's probably won it. He's put himself in rarefied air and is already a top 3 quarterback ever. First ballot Hall of Famer if he retired today. And he's only 29 years old, so he's just getting started. Let's be real, most fans hating online are fans of a team that Mahomes has most likely eliminated from the playoffs or perhaps even the Super Bowl, or just beaten outright, or better yet, there's a greater chance you're a fan of a division rival of Kansas City in the AFC West. And if I'm being completely honest, I would hate to be a fan of any of them teams as well, so I do not blame you. Mahomes and the Chiefs have that division on lock. He literally has the best record and winning percentage against divisional opponents amongst all active quarterbacks in the NFL, with a ridiculous record of 35-5. Since Patrick Mahomes became the Chiefs' starting quarterback in 2018, Kansas City has won the AFC West every single season from 2018 through 2024, a total of 7 consecutive division titles. So yeah, there's a lot of things to hate on if you're a fan of an AFC West team not named the Chiefs. You have the right to hate, but you hate him because he's the best, not because of anything else. You simply can't beat him. The same reason why I bet any AFC team fan base, aside from the Patriots, hated Tom Brady, rightfully so. I too know what it's like to be a hateful, angry fan who can't beat a division rival. I'm a Bears fan from Chicago, so you can imagine the amount of hate I have in my heart for Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, and Brett Favre. But you'll never hear or see me crying online or blaming the refs or saying that Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre weren't the best quarterbacks or amongst the very best, because they kicked my team's ass every single game and had annoying commercials to go along with it. Trust me when I tell you guys, I know that pain all too well. Early last season, Mahomes lost his wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and starting running back. It's no wonder why his stats were down, and yet again, what happened? They still went 15-2, won the division again, as well as the 1 seed in the AFC. And yes, the defense was incredible, one of the best in the league. But Mahomes still finished top 10 in completion percentage and passing yards per game, and was the best, most clutch quarterback on 3rd and 4th down situations last year. But nobody ever talks about that. And most importantly, he sent his arch nemesis, quote-unquote, the league MVP, Josh Allen, home packing once again for the 4th time in the playoffs. Since getting obliterated in this past Super Bowl and Mahomes' back-to-back mediocre statistical regular seasons, Chiefs haters have gone so loud and proud online. All their ops fan bases, it seems like, mostly Bills Nation, Flock Nation, and Bengals fans. It's not only them fan bases, but they definitely cover a large percentage of the hate online that I see, with sports media heads even going as far as saying that he's not a top 3 quarterback in their NFL rankings going into next season. And you could probably guess which 3 quarterbacks he has listed ahead of him, right?
Ooh, that's a bingo!
You guessed it. Good old Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. But it's quite baffling to me the amount of fans that suffer from amnesia. Mahomes and the Chiefs were literally just a game away from completing a 3-peat last season, and all you guys could do was cry about the refs. After the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl to the Eagles, I didn't hear or see anything about the refs. It seemed like that whole argument the whole world was crying about just vanished in thin air and went from, I'm not watching the Super Bowl, to a hater's delight. All the haters in the football world rejoiced in the Chiefs and Mahomes' sorrows that night. It's really sad though, honestly. What happened to NFL fans? People used to love Mahomes and the Chiefs until they started winning Super Bowls. You guys think that's just a coincidence? It can't possibly be all because of the refs. Did you watch that Super Bowl? Not a single favor done for them. They got destroyed. Looked legit to me, didn't see any hints of it being scripted for the Chiefs. Why do some Ravens fans hate Mahomes? Well, in 5 total games Mahomes and Lamar have faced off, Mahomes and the Chiefs are 4-1. 3 of those wins coming in the regular season and 1 playoff game being the 2023 AFC title game, the season in which Lamar won his 2nd league MVP and the Ravens earned the 1 seed in the AFC. Kansas City would beat them on their home turf for another shot at a Super Bowl title, ending the Ravens' best chance at a Super Bowl in the Lamar Jackson era so far. Some of you might cry and say that last season they were better, but whatever, they weren't the 1 seed last year. Facts are what they are. But since we're here to call it like it is, Lamar has outplayed Mahomes in the past couple regular seasons. But when it comes to the playoffs, crunch time moments, and when it matters most, Mahomes reigns over Jackson and any other quarterback in the NFL today. In all of the combined head-to-head matchups, regular season and playoffs, the stats aren't close in favor of Mahomes, who has more passing touchdowns, more passing yards, and has just flat out outplayed him head-to-head. While Lamar usually has his worst games in the biggest moments of his career, leading the playoff exits, Mahomes kicks it into another gear, steps up, and wins by any means necessary. I'm not really trying to knock Lamar. He's obviously one of the best ever and is an amazing regular season quarterback. He just can't be called better than Mahomes when he chokes every year in the playoffs and has 0 Super Bowl appearances to go with them 2 MVPs, while Mahomes has 5 and 3 rings to go with his 2 MVPs, as well as the head-to-head advantage against Lamar. Argue, complain, or cry about it all you want, but Mahomes is still better than Lamar Jackson, and it's not up for debate. It pretty much goes without saying that the Chiefs-Bengals or Mahomes-Burrow rivalry is legit. Burrow has slightly better stats than Mahomes head-to-head as well as the win advantage. When Burrow plays, he and the Bengals are 3-2 against Mahomes' Chiefs and 1-1 in the playoffs. Burrow and the Bengals are the only team since Brady's Patriots in 2018, Mahomes' first season as a starter, to have slayed the Dragon and beaten Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs not only in the playoffs, but also on their home soil at Arrowhead to go to the Super Bowl. Burrow, like Lamar, has also outperformed Mahomes statistically in the last couple of regular seasons as well. But the last 3 times they played, the Chiefs have come out on top. In fact, the Bengals haven't beaten them since 2022. Tensions rose the most before that 2023 AFC title game in which before the game Bengals players were calling the Chiefs' home stadium quote-unquote Burrowhead. Even Cincinnati's mayor decided to run his mouth.
From the desk of the mayor, be it proclaimed, whereas the Cincinnati Bengals are headed to Burrowhead Stadium for their 2nd consecutive AFC championship game.
A few moments later.
Got some wise words for that Cincinnati mayor. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni. Woo! Burrowhead my ass. Woo! It's Mahomes' house.
That aged well. Mahomes and the Chiefs won again and advanced to another Super Bowl, which they won for the 3rd time in the Mahomes era. It goes without saying that there's some bad blood between these 2 teams and quarterbacks, and we have many more battles to look forward to for the next decade or so. But it doesn't make sense to say a guy who has achieved almost nothing besides beating Mahomes once in the playoffs like 4 years ago is better than Mahomes because he's outplayed him in the past 2 regular seasons and holds the slight edge in head-to-head games. It's no secret that the Bengals play the Chiefs very tough every single game, even when they're a bad team, which makes their rivalry all the better. But the reality is, Mahomes has at least 3 times the hardware as Burrow, and that's not even including the AFC titles, league MVPs, division titles, Pro Bowls, etc. Also, Burrow's Bengals haven't even made the playoffs the past 2 years, and I know it's not Burrow's fault, but it's just the truth. Mahomes may have had the better defense in recent years, but it hasn't always been the case. Mahomes carried horrible defenses and horrible receiving cores, and literally a team that led the league in drops to multiple conference championships and Super Bowls. He never had 2 wide receiver ones like Burrow. So if you had amnesia about how great Mahomes is, let this video be a reminder. There's no way Joe Burrow is better than Patrick Mahomes. Even he knows it himself.
Who do you think is the best in the world now?
I don't think there's any argument right now. It's Pat. Tell somebody has a better year than he's had. He's the one to knock off.
The Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. It goes without saying that this is by far the best rivalry in the NFL right now. Yeah, you can make an argument for Bears versus Packers, but let's be honest. Up until last year, it's been extremely one-sided in favor of Green Bay. Now that I've got that out the way, you're a liar if you don't get excited for Bills versus Chiefs. The combined regular season and playoff record head-to-head between Mahomes and Allen is 5-4 in favor of Mahomes. Almost every single time these guys play, it's a banger and must-see TV. When it comes to the playoffs between these two, it's usually always a great game, with arguably the greatest game ever being played, known as the infamous 13-second game. But this duel always ends in the same result in the playoffs, when it matters the most. The Chiefs and Mahomes always win. Mahomes has the faster gun. In 2020, their first playoff matchup, the Chiefs smashed them 38-24. Then in 2021, the divisional round, aka 13-second game, that ended in overtime with the Chiefs pulling off a crazy driving field goal with 13 seconds left in regulation to tie it, and eventually winning in OT 42-36. The Bills would then go directly to the NFL and cry for them to change the overtime rule. At least they won that. Then it happened again in 2023 divisional round. This time the Chiefs went into Buffalo and beat the Bills 27-24 again. Last but not least, last year's AFC Championship game, Mahomes and Kansas City won 32-29 once again, sending Josh Allen and Bills Mafia home packing for the fourth time, while the Chiefs advanced to their third straight Super Bowl on the quest for a three-peat. In all of Mahomes versus Allen's combined head-to-head matchups, the stats are close, but also in favor of Patrick Mahomes. Allen has the slight total touchdown lead by 2 with combined passing and rushing touchdowns, but they both have 19 combined passing touchdowns. But the most insane stat of this rivalry is that this is the only instance in NFL history in which a single quarterback has beaten another quarterback 4 times in the playoffs. In other words, no other quarterback has gotten owned this bad by another quarterback in the playoffs in the history of football. So it's pretty obvious why a lot of Buffalo Bills fans hate the Chiefs and Mahomes, and I get it. Especially since the fact that Buffalo traded the pick in the 2017 draft to Kansas City, in which Kansas City used that very pick to select the one and only Patrick Mahomes. To properly phrase it, the Bills could have drafted Mahomes, and not only did they not draft him, but they essentially traded him to the Chiefs, and he ended up becoming their worst nightmare. Yes, they eventually drafted Josh Allen, and he's great, but Bills fans, if anyone should know better about Mahomes and where he stands amongst the quarterback rankings, it should be you. Top 2 and not 2. For the grand finale, I had to save the best for last. The ultimate Mahomes Chiefs haters. I want to address all of Tom Brady's fanboys online because God forbid there's a lot of you, and it's sickening in my opinion. Never have I ever saw a more insecure, pathetic, and outright obnoxious fan base in my life. It's also baffling to me the level of insecurity that Tom Brady fans have when it comes to any talk of Pat Mahomes or the Chiefs. Every single time a post goes up about Mahomes or the Chiefs, I instantly go look at the comments and see multiple Tom Brady fan accounts commenting hate or Patrick Mahomes slander. These fanboy accounts literally go to Chiefs fan accounts and cry. Like, bro, why are you even here? Dudes are beyond lame. They go around lurking trying to rally the troops of any other degenerate haters who are just like them and feel better after they comment some Mahomes hate. It's sickening, guys. Get a girlfriend or something. Listen. We all know Tom Brady is the greatest player ever. His resume is untouchable, at least for the near future. He's got more rings than most franchises in the NFL, and he's reached the pinnacle of sports achievement and will forever be renowned for his longevity, dominance, and overall impact that he left on the game. His legend status can't ever be debated. Now, with that being said, it is so blatantly obvious that Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback talent we've ever saw, and it's not close. Patrick Mahomes does stuff that Tom Brady and many quarterbacks before him could never do. Mahomes objectively has a much stronger arm and just far better arm talent than Brady ever had. He's also clearly a much better scrambler, a better improviser, and once the play breaks down, nobody in the history of the league is better than Mahomes. And based off the sample size we have, he's also more clutch than Brady. He also didn't get carried in his first few seasons by a historically great defense like Tom Brady did. In fact, Mahomes carried his team to the AFC conference game in his first year when he won the league MVP with one of the worst defenses in the league. They were ranked 31st in yards allowed and 24th in points allowed. In his first few seasons in the league, the Chiefs had below average defenses, yet a younger Mahomes still led them to their first Super Bowl win in 50 years in only his second season, and has led the Chiefs to the conference championship every single year since becoming starter. Yes, Mahomes was granted an ideal situation in Kansas City with an offensive wizard like Andy Reid and one of the greatest tight ends ever in Travis Kelce, as well as Tyreek Hill in his first few seasons. But let's be honest, Andy Reid without Mahomes had only been to 1 Super Bowl in 20 years as a head coach. But once Mahomes arrived onto the scene, 5 Super Bowl appearances and 3 titles in only 7 years. Argue with them facts, crybabies. Mahomes was the main reason for their success, unlike Tom Brady, who had Bill Belichick, hands down the greatest coach ever, a defense with multiple Hall of Famers and Pro Bowlers on it, as well as a Pro Bowl receiver in Troy Brown. And later on, as you all know, would have Gronk, the greatest tight end ever, as well as Randy Moss, undisputably a top 5 receiver of all time. And even with Randy and prime Gronk on the same team, couldn't win a ring. Can you imagine if Mahomes had Randy Moss and an Andy Reid offense? To sum it all up, it goes without saying that they both landed into ideal situations. Only Mahomes was the main driving force for why that team was so successful. So that argument for Mahomes having a better situation than Brady goes straight to shit. And if the simple eye test isn't enough to convince you that Mahomes is a better talent than Brady, let's talk about their stats. 7 seasons in as starters, when you look at their stats side by side, they're not even remotely close, heavily in favor of Mahomes. And I know what you guys are already crying and saying, that the eras are much different. They didn't pass as much as they do now, which is fair. But why is it that Tom Brady still has more interceptions thrown than Mahomes in their first 7 years as starters? You can say that they passed less in Tom's era, but how can you justify Brady throwing more interceptions and less pass attempts than Mahomes in a way more pass-heavy league and offense nowadays? In their first 7 seasons as starters, Mahomes has thrown 45 more passing touchdowns than Brady, 12 less interceptions, and a whopping 5,982 more passing yards. And he has more total wins, 6 Pro Bowl selections to Tom's 3, 3 All-Pros to his 2, and 3 Super Bowl MVPs to Brady's 2, a higher completion percentage and a higher QBR. That's not even including the rushing stats. Now it's time to address the holy grail of arguments that every Brady fanboy or Patriot fan will die on a hill over, which is that Brady beat Mahomes head-to-head in both playoff games. Even as an old man, yes, I'm well aware. But it's not a good argument given the full context, and here's why. If you go back to the 2018 AFC Championship game when the Patriots beat the Chiefs in overtime, when Mahomes didn't even get a chance to touch the ball, again, in Mahomes' first year as a starter, and Brady had thrown the game-ending pick in regulation, but Dee Ford lined up off sides. And it had nothing to do with the play, but the refs called it, which got the pick called back and ultimately led to the Patriots' drive continuing, and they would score and go on to win in overtime. Also, I must say, there were some straight up terrible calls in that game in favor of the Patriots. Like, just look at this clear no catch that they not only ruled a catch, which would cost the Chiefs everything, but they literally reviewed it when Andy Reid threw the challenge flag, and they still gave it to New England and somehow ruled this a catch. Right before that play, there was also a really bad roughing the passer called on Chris Jones that I have to mention. Just look at how weak this call was. Absolutely god-awful. Another late game, costly, pathetic call in favor of the Patriots. I also remember vividly nobody crying about the refs when I think they had multiple very good reasons to. Next, if you look at the narrative of the 2020 Super Bowl with the Brady Bucks versus Mahomes Chiefs, Mahomes was down 4 of his 5 starting offensive linemen. I'll repeat, 4 of his 5 starting offensive linemen didn't play, going up against the Bucks, who had one of, if not the best defensive line in all of football that year. Earlier that year in the regular season, when the Chiefs were fully healthy and they faced the Brady Bucks, they beat up on them. They were doing nearly whatever they wanted to them in the first half, and Tyreek Hill had 2 touchdowns in the first quarter alone. So given that context, what do you guys think would have happened in that Super Bowl if Mahomes had his offensive line? And even in that Super Bowl, Brady was literally a game manager, while Mahomes was running for his life the entire game behind backups, still making unbelievable throws, hitting guys right in their face mask with the ball, making highlight plays that they still show to this day in awe. The point being that Tom Brady fans will never let the head-to-head argument go, even though the overall head-to-head record between Brady and Mahomes is tied 3-3. Just because Brady has the head-to-head playoff advantage doesn't mean he'll always be better than him no matter what. That's just silly to say. Because by that logic, would Eli Manning be better than Tom? Eli's 2-0 against him in the playoffs? Didn't think so. The head-to-head stats are close, but yet again, Mahomes has the upper hand. Mahomes has more touchdowns, yards, and a higher QBR in the regular season, while Brady has higher completion percentage overall and a higher QBR in the playoffs. So while you guys love to run around and say Brady has the head-to-head advantage, technically he doesn't. It's tied 3-3. The last time they played, Mahomes and the Chiefs dominated him again, and Mahomes has outplayed him in almost every single matchup. He has the better numbers, he just didn't beat Brady in the playoffs, but it wasn't because he got outplayed by Brady. All in all, Brady of course has the superior resume, sustained longevity, and playoff head-to-head win advantage. But Mahomes is only just getting started, and he's already got the second most playoff wins in NFL history, behind only Brady. He's also one of only 3 quarterbacks to ever win 3 rings before turning 30. Only Tom Brady and Troy Aikman have achieved this. The proof is in the pudding, which are not only just the facts, but the narratives as well. And in terms of Mahomes being the best quarterback talent we've ever saw, the eyeball test, historic numbers, epic playoff performances, and early record-breaking success speak for themselves. Not even Tom Brady, the GOAT, had the glorious start to a career that Patrick Mahomes has, and that's why Brady fans hate him the most of any group of haters. You guys are so insecure because they talk about Mahomes like they used to Brady, and that makes your blood boil. You don't want Brady's numbers to get passed, so you double down on the Mahomes slander and use any knock you can think of to tear down Mahomes and the Chiefs' success instead of just appreciating greatness. If you truly feel in your heart that Brady is better than Mahomes, then why are so many of you in comment sections talking shit every time Mahomes gets brought up? I know why. It's to cope your fear that Mahomes will potentially surpass Brady in the GOAT conversation someday. And you guys just can't live with them thoughts. You get overwhelmed when you see the stats and how Mahomes is already second all-time in playoff wins. So you guys just turn to typing bullshit. Stop doing that. You guys are better than that. Appreciate Mahomes while he's here, because we all know once he retires, that's when he'll truly be acknowledged and appreciated. Football fans have went above and beyond hating on Patrick Mahomes and turning a beloved superhero on the gridiron to the most hated supervillain, who most want nothing more than to see him fall. Simply because fans already have Chiefs fatigue. Continued excellence, relevancy, and dominance tends to do that to people. Just ask some of the GOATs, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Steph Curry. People love to hate on them. Why? Because every single year they're on the top of their sport. Whether it's because their team doesn't win or it's just fun to take shots at the top dog, that same logic applies to Patrick Mahomes because he's the greatest player in the NFL today, whether you guys like it or not. The difference between me and most NFL fans, better yet haters, is that I choose to appreciate greatness. I just love football and watching the elite of the elite go at it. No sport excites me more than watching the highest level of football. I'm not from Kansas City, nor do I have any affinity to the Chiefs, but Mahomes is the greatest player I've ever seen. And because my Bears have been trashed, it doesn't make me hate on him or the Chiefs. In fact, I love watching the Chiefs and root for them and never miss their games, just because of Mahomes. Ultimately, my theory is that NFL fans got zero break in between Brady and Mahomes' careers. It was a seamless passing of the torch, and that makes most fans blood boil for all the reasons I named. Love him or hate him, Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback talent we've ever seen, and he's going to be around for a long time. He's undeniably a one-of-a-kind, once-in-a-generation talent, a great leader, the ultimate competitor, carries himself with integrity and honor, never throws his teammates under the bus, always takes accountability, and most importantly, is the best winner in the NFL today. And that's why he's the most hated. What's up guys, Jesse here with Soar. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss a thing. Also, follow my social media pages for even more. See you in the next video.